And now for our feature presentation.
This is great because on the back it actually says this film is also known as
the I'll Watch It Later podcast.
You ever heard of that film?
And now, on with the show.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. No, you guys are dumb. Hello, everybody, and welcome to I'll Watch It Later podcast.
Ooh, sexy.
I had an intro, but then I forgot it. So
Put it on his phone, can I?
We have an intro.
No. Like I have a thing I want to say now all the time, but
you got a coined
a phrase,
catchphrase.
yeah, a phrase, but I forgot what it was. So
Apparently, it's not that good.
I'll just think of it. Hopefully throughout the show and then get back to it. Anyways, I am Aaron, as always, joined by my best friend Jordan.
Hello.
And my best friend, brother-in-law, and producer Scott.
Howdy.
Okay, so we are back. We have seen the movies. We have seen all of the movies. Well, I have at least. I don't think anybody else at this table has.
Done a few movies this week.
A few or one?
I watched 4 movies. I was stuck in a hotel all week long. Trust me, I had nothing but Showtime at my disposal. I watched 3 movies that I had no right to watch again, and then I watched
what movies?
Okay, so
Boys in the Hood.
You're not you're along the same lines. I watched Barbershop 2, back in business. I watched Beauty Shop because it was on there as well. Wow. I was like, all right, I want to do that because
you must have been bored.
I watched Soul Plane.
You're really just getting into your other side.
And then I was like, I have to go in the complete opposite direction, and I ended up watching Old Henry like you had suggested. And then I went to a movie, and we'll discuss that.
Right. What did you think of Old Henry?
I really liked it. I think the twist at the end and all this stuff I felt a little weird.
No way. It was perfect.
I feel it was a little weird. It was a little weird. Like, it was just like, okay.
You're wrong.
Well, because it's like, oh, this takes place in 1906. There's no way, but whatever. I thought it was good. I really just want to watch more westerns with Timothy Blake Nelson in it. Like, just Buster Scruggs in this. Like, I think that's his time. He needs to do that more often. I mean, he was really good in that one, and then he was really good in Old Henry. I didn't like the way I really was pissed off about the way Old Henry ended. I was like, ugh, dick. But no, it was a good movie. I did.
You were pissed at the way it ended?
I didn't want. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to ruin it for.
Are
Scott
you ever
going to
watch it, Scott?
I will.
Okay.
So don't ruin it for you.
So all the movies I saw yesterday. I mean, it was literally
2 movies.
2 movies, and I was so goddamn tired, man. I fought it through both movies. I mean,
that's right, because you guys went to the movie theater yesterday. Gotcha.
I
okay.
was fighting hard.
I was like sitting there going, what 2 movies did you watch? Because I forgot I saw the other movie the day before. Yeah, that's how I felt yesterday when I watched our movie selection, and then I was going to throw on that Texas Chainsaw Massacre that you had watched. And I just did not have the energy.
Well,
I was gone all week. I traveled back home. I mean, no, it's only an hour and a half drive from my house, but man, my day just took the energy out of me. And then,
well, luckily for you, you didn't miss absolutely anything. The new Texas Chainsaw Massacre on Netflix is god awful. It is one of the worst legacy sequels I've ever seen. It makes Halloween Kills, which I know was mixed. Mixed isn't the right word. Nobody liked it but us.
That's true.
It made Halloween Kills look like an Oscar contender. This movie is terrible. My biggest problem with like these types of legacy sequels, and not really legacy sequels in general, but this type is they bring all these characters, these new characters, and I get it. They got to get with the times and everything. But when you make the characters so unlikable that you don't care that they die, it's bad.
There's a lot of movies like that where it's like, oh man, I hope he you can almost bank that they're gonna die, and you just kind of want them to go out really bad, and it sucks because there's just no relating to the characters. You just want to see the kill count. I mean, that's almost how Saw is, where it's like, I don't care about anybody in this movie. I just want to see how they're gonna die.
I think Saw's on a different level though,
right?
Because it's the contraptions. It's very MacGyver. You want to see what contraptions he's coming up with.
And at least with that, there's like there's like not a good story, but a flowing story. Yeah. This is all about like influencers trying to buy it, like gentrify a small town in Texas, and they want to become cooks, and they have investors showing up, and Leatherface is just running around killing them all.
Gentrify.
I was going to say they're gentrifying.
Sorry. Yeah, sorry.
Like,
however, there is
he, him.
It's a they them town.
Pretty much. the one positive I will say about this, if you are determined to watch it, is that Richard Diaz, who is I think it's Ricardo Diaz, my bad, who's the cinematographer. Some of the actual images of the film are like oil paintings. They're so good. That's cool. It's a beautiful movie, but it is so bad that you get over that right away.
Now, this one directly links to the original.
Yep.
Original.
The girl who survives at the end of... she comes back kind of like a Laurie Strode or, like a Nev Campbell type or whatever. They don't do anything with her, so don't get excited. I really don't want to ruin it too much, but at the same time, I just would like to avoid... Like, she immediately gets chainsawed in the fucking gut. Like, immediately.
They're like, oh, you survived the first one?
Yeah.
Not anymore.
So...
that sucks because the trailer made it seem like she was going to be like a big part of this movie where she's helping them navigate the crazy family and the chainsaw and all that.
No, I think she's in it for less than 2.5 minutes, and there's only it's like her realizing what's going on, getting to the town, immediately getting fucking disemboweled by a chainsaw. And
wow,
yeah, it's.
I'm still gonna watch it, but man, that sounds.
It's only an hour
stupid.
and 29 minutes, and I think. Whereas we always kind of are excited about like faster paced films or whatever, I think it's too fast for its own good. Like it's too fast. You're like you're not setting up anything. You're not making me give a crap about anything that's going on. The only thing, and I don't even know if this is good, is the kills in this movie are so beyond violent that it's interesting to watch them. But as it goes on, you're just like, okay.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of these are trying to do that, where it's like, if we don't have enough story, at least we can give them all the blood and guts that they want. And
it's so much.
Yeah. At some point, like, I love horror movies, and at some point, I still kind of want a story to it. Like, I don't want to just watch, a snuff film for 2 hours. Like, I want to see something at least worth watching.
I'd be interested to hear your take on it, but
I'll watch it tonight.
What else did we watch this week? We saw Uncharted. We'll get to that in a second.
Yeah, I think we'll save Uncharted until a little bit later because we will talk about it, and I don't want to spoil. I mean, honestly, after watching this movie, there's really not much to spoil. Like, this is not oh God, there's a spoiler in this. No, this is a straightforward.
You can figure it out.
Treasure hunt action movie. It follows all the same beats. So, I mean, there's not much spoilers, but we'll talk about it later.
I did watch that movie Kimmy as well on HBO Max.
Yes, I haven't got around to that yet.
With the Kravitz girl. She's so
Zoe
hot.
Kravitz.
Yeah, she's naked in it. So,
well, there goes the Batman. I guess he doesn't care now. He's already seen all the goods.
It's Aaron's new standard for movies now.
No,
she's
not
like,
at all.
A hot chick, she get naked.
No, she's really hot. She's just. I really enjoyed this probably more than I thought I should. It's very with the times. It's about like a Siri or a Alexa and she's kind of the person that listens in and fixes all the mistakes. And then, she hears something.
I've seen something, like a preview for that.
She hears something she's not supposed to hear, falls down this Steven Soderbergh rabbit hole. It's such a Soderbergh movie. But the way it's filmed is incredible. She has agoraphobia, and it really makes you feel her anxiety, which I really liked. Okay. What's up?
I said, okay.
Oh, sorry.
I was moving the conversation along, feeling like I was parting of it.
Oh, my bad.
What?
I'm sorry.
I'm done. Moving
I
the
I was trying to contribute.
I just didn't hear you. I apologize. No, but I recommend you guys watch it as well. It's right there on HBO Max. It's hard to not be able to recommend these movies to you when they're so easily accessible.
And I mean, that's how it is nowadays with anything. I actually was driving home yesterday from my business trip and messaged my boss and said, hey, I checked Uncharted. I checked Uncharted out. And his first reaction was, "Where is it streaming?" And I'm like, "Oh God, is that where we are nowadays?"
God,
no, I went to a damn theater for this. Like, go to the movies, man.
No, man, I went totally old school, man. I bought a ticket.
I went
sat
outside.
down.
Yeah, I went in, sat in a chair.
Scott and I went totally old school.
So another movie that we did check out
what'd you guys watch?
From the back of our eyelids was "Marry Me."
Dude, I wasn't even
Did you guys watch?
Up.
Oh man, I haven't got around to
Watch is not the correct.
Did you guys?
It is. I like rom-coms,
I'm
man.
stupid for those.
I like a good rom-com. This is so fucking bad. So bad.
Hold on. And I'm not trying to call you out, but you were asleep in the first 10 minutes.
I woke up intermittently through this movie, and no part of it was good.
Okay, so I also...
It looked bad. Just the premise.
I also fell asleep.
Yes.
But for different reasons. I had work.
For different reasons, yes.
Narcoleptic.
No, because I had work that day. However, what I thought was funny is that I was waking up intermittently as well, and I was watching it. At no point was I lost in the film.
No.
Like, I knew exactly,
I knew exactly what was going on.
Like, I missed an hour and a half, and I could tell you everything that happened.
Yeah.
Where J-Lo pretty much plays herself in this movie, and she's like, I'm so terribly famous, and I have all these followers, social media, and we're getting married, and then I'm going to find this guy that I love because this hot dude is cheating on me, and then we're going to go through this big story where I'm like, it's like Pretty Woman in reverse. And
but here's the thing, I watched the trailer for this movie, and the second she's like, she finds out she's about to go on stage, she finds out that the guy she's with she was gonna get married on stage or something with is cheating on her. She immediately points to this one guy who probably shouldn't have even been at the concert.
Just hold his side.
And my thing is like, that dude should have been like, nah, I'm good. And then that's the movie. Like in the movie,
that's exactly what I said. I go, why is he not questioning this?
Right.
He's just like,
there's no reason to go along with
you're pulling me up on stage. We're getting married. Cool. And like Aaron's like, hey, he probably thought it was like a joke or something. I'm like, I don't know. It seemed like he was just so into it, man. He's like, yeah, let's get married. Cool. I'm gonna marry this famous person that I have no idea.
Wow, yeah, pull me on stage. Oh wow.
Wow.
Actually,
wow.
You're kind of wrong.
Of course I'll marry you. Oh, wow.
It sets it up as like it's part of the act, and it's not like it's not like a. They make it as a part of the act and not like just something that's off the fly. And then
they were just dropping equipment over here. Okay. This fucking headset's just pounded off the floor.
And they're even going to pay him off and everything. And then she's like, what if I stay married to him? But then it gets all ridiculous.
Oh, wow. I could totally do that. Oh, wow.
But we were coming out of the theater last night. And so this is the first time we had been to this theater in quite a while. And this lady's out front going, take a survey. And she's handing us these like little touchscreen pads, and we're like, yeah, cool, whatever. We look across, and people are actually coming out of Marry Me, and we're like looking at it going, people are actually going to the fucking theater to see this when you could see it on
TV?
Like on the streaming service.
So, okay, my thing is, what did you guys think about the movie theater? Because I went to a Cinemark as well, and the Cinemark I went to was down in Tucson, and it was built into a mall. So, of course, it's already small. This thing was ghetto, and like to the point where there was maybe like 15 seats in the whole theater because they had switched to the recliners, but they had to take out. Yeah, and it was so bad, and I'm sitting there going, I'm going to get shot.
The one at
Uncharted.
Riverview is not that bad.
Oh, is that the one you went to?
That bad.
Here's my thing about Cinemark or any giant chain theaters. A big thing is us locally here in Arizona, we have a local chain that does delve into California called Harkins, and then we have what's called the Majestic, which used to be the Alamo, which is usually where we go see everything because no one messes with you.
Oh, it's so great.
It's almost like your own theater. Going to Cinemark wasn't bad in the sense that it was a regular movie theater. It was bad in the sense that
they let anybody in.
Normies were there.
These assholes.
People sitting next to me wouldn't shut the fuck up.
It's because of our elevated status in life.
Seriously. Yeah. Well, we get to the point where we're
like, really, we have to sit with the normies to go watch a movie now?
We usually go, if we don't hit up a movie like in the afternoon like we kind of do sometimes after we record, we'll usually go to a later movie theater. And at this point, with COVID the way it was and life happening, you go to a 9 o'clock movie, there's like 3 people in there.
Right.
And that's it.
It's
so you don't have the idiots clapping at the end of the movie because they think
they clapped at the end of Uncharted.
What?
They clapped.
I don't know.
So yeah, I
and they all stood in the hallway to watch the end credit.
I hate to feel snobby, but honestly, at this point, even though I have kids myself, I want to go to a theater that doesn't allow them in.
Right.
Get the kids out past 9 o'clock. I don't want to see anybody under 20 because even then, fuck you guys. And it's
I just have this image of us walking in with
out.
like these our sunglasses on, big mink coats.
I don't care.
We're like, we're all the normie people.
I don't
get them out of here.
I don't care.
I picked my seat hours ago.
Honestly,
get them out.
I can't stand just casual moviegoers. And you know what? That might make me sound like a huge asshole. And you're like, God, I would really not get along with this guy. But
there's like 98% of our listeners.
Well, and you can almost pinpoint the problems during the trailers.
Right.
The trailer's going on, and they're having full on conversations about the day before, and I'm sitting there going, if you don't shut the fuck
next
up,
to me,
the second. Not even in this one because the Uncharted logo doesn't come until the end. So as soon as the Sony logo came up, and I'm looking around going, you big guys better shut up. Like, I'm so mad at you. And again, this was a small theater. There was maybe 6 people total, and I knew like I'm gonna have to yell at somebody down in Tucson.
Did you?
I wanted to, but they thankfully shut up. But
okay. Yeah, I had the same problem with the guy the next to me. He did that bit where he took his popcorn and just dumped it all over the floor for absolutely no reason,
and then
that's where it belongs.
Sprinted out of the theater.
Yeah. Left his girl there.
Yeah, it was so fucking weird.
He probably
man.
drank a soda, had to go piss
because he just the movie credits hit, boom, popcorn hits the floor. He gets up, he runs, and I'm like, I look at Aaron, I'm like, what the fuck is this guy doing?
He wanted to make a mess, and he thinks it's funny because he's not a normal human being, and he can't be trusted to go out into public.
Social situations.
So it's so infuriating that we have to watch movies with peasants now.
It really, yeah.
I mean,
well, streaming has definitely
where we are in life.
Streaming has definitely made me appreciate when I can go to a theater and actually enjoy it without the group. Like there are moments where when we go see Spider-Man and we're in a packed theater, and even though there's going to be idiots in there, everyone is usually there because they enjoy the property. So for the most part, people were quiet when they needed to be quiet. I mean, we had those moments where they were cheering and laughing and being silly and whatever. But for the most part, in those kinds of movies, they truly want to be there. I think people go into Uncharted thinking, oh, it's a movie, and then like they are not as invested in maybe the property, and then that's when the conversations or the talking or the popcorn spilling or the stupid normie bullshit happens. And yeah, I'm a rube, and I want to enjoy my movie in silence and on a big screen, and
And I think I've come to like
holding the popcorn with me and Aaron go, and I just want.
I've come to terms with watching movies at my house,
Pringle can.
Whereas I used to watch everything like over my cell phone, But now, like with most stuff, I watch it without my cell phone. However, my problem is I get too invested in a movie, and then I gotta look everything up. Yeah. So like I can't do that when I'm at the theater, and that's what I like about going to the theater is so like when we
it
get
takes
to
you
our
away from your life for like 2 hours.
The movie you picked, I was like, we were watching it, but I was too busy.
We were Googling all kinds of shit.
I was Googling all sorts of things last night, and so that's. I mean, there's positive and negatives of both things, but I can tell you this: I won't be going back to Cinemark for a while. The only reason I went was to get that Batman stuff.
I got the cup. Did you get the cup or just get the bucket?
I got both.
You're like, I don't know if I need it. And then you saw it. I took a picture, and you're like,
you said it's metal, and I got excited.
It is. Like I was surprised by that.
I can use it as a trash can.
Oh, there you go. Wow. Speaking of the movie, you guys watched it last night together.
Yes.
The Duck Soup.
We held hands.
Oh yes, we watched.
Okay, because I know you guys went to the.
We'll
movie.
Get to that because
I just figured this was
Scott
a radio way
to super fucking cheap. No, because we got to talk about Uncharted. Or are we doing that after?
We're gonna do it after.
Oh,
we're gonna probably.
He says I'm super cheap. I literally told him, I'm like, I go. You would think that I could find this movie. And I'm like, but I'm like, I'm going to have to pay for this movie because I can't find it anywhere. And he goes, I have it. Just come over and watch it after the movie. And I said, yeah, I'll do that. That way I don't have to freaking.
Could you come pick me up?
Yeah, can you pick me up too?
A street away.
Can I borrow $2 for gas?
Yeah. Hey, man, I'll come over and stream it because $4. Not going to be doing that for this show.
Not gonna happen.
I already bought snacks this week. There's no chance I contribute any more to this fucking.
I didn't even have to buy the snacks.
You're like I saw the snacks.
They were given to me.
Of course.
Oh my god!
All right,
shit.
Jordan.
Well, there goes your score.
What did you pick this week?
I picked the Marx Brothers classic Duck Soup from 1933.
Oh, Your Excellency, I must speak to you.
I'll see you at the theater tonight. I'll hold your seat till you get there. After you get there, you're on your own.
Hello? Hello, yes? No, he's not in yet. All right, well, goodbye. That was for you again.
I wonder whatever became of me. I should have been back here a long time ago.
They got gone, we got gone, all our children got gone.
Yes, you did.
Look. I knew that this was going to be.
I think you're.
This is going to be a rough one because the comedy, based off of how we live now and what we've seen now and things like that, comedy sometimes doesn't translate.
We fucking laughed.
Aaron
and I were
okay,
fucking laughing.
good. Okay. So I'm watching it last night, and you text me, "Are you watching Duck Soup?" And I said yes. And then when you said, "Have you laughed yet?" I'm sitting there going, fuck, this man is watching this movie dead-faced,
no,
hating every second of it, and that's what I was like, damn it. Man, it bums me out. Okay, I'm glad you guys.
So here's how
laughed. I don't know if you enjoyed it, but I'm glad you laughed.
So this is how this went down. I got Bahama Bucks.
We drank a lot.
Scott had to go and grab like a ice cream.
My daughter brought me some ice cream.
Dog out. So I texted you that when I was waiting for him because I stuck the disc in and it was on pause, and I was just waiting for him to get over to my house. And I was just curious because it was very black and white. It was 4:3, even on the DVD.
It's old.
And it looked great. It looked incredible on my TV. But I was just thinking, like, we haven't had the best track record with older films. So I was curious as to whether it translated. Now,
I would say for the normie, if we're going to be on the normie kick, the normie audience probably it doesn't. This comment,
I don't know.
Some of the slapstick stuff, maybe some of the other comedy
and screwball,
or like the musical numbers, is very much a product of its time.
There was only like 3 musicals.
There was
well, speaking of musical, as soon as the first musical comes on, Aaron looks at me and he's like, "Huh?" And I was like, "Dude, it says that it's a comedy musical."
I didn't know that.
They do the Marx Brothers did this in every movie. And this was like their thing where, and I mean, honestly, movies of that time, that's what their big draw was. Is like, you have a movie, but then you always have a big musical number or a dance number or things like that.
Well, style-wise, it's very, very Wizard of Oz.
Yes.
It's very Wizard of Oz. The way things, like the scenes are shot, the way the music kind of hits.
Big sets.
It's kind of, if you're into like Wizard of Oz type stuff, and that type of musicals. And I mean, it does translate that same style.
Well, it's like, do you remember the end of Blazing Saddles where they ride through and they get into that big musical number of all the gay guys dancing and the sets are all big and there's water and there's people swimming and stuff? That's the kind of thing that this movie does. It has big, grand sets for these big dance numbers. People going up and downstairs, and there's people in the balconies, and it's just a whole production. And that's honestly how a lot of these movies were back then. And for me, when you had sent that text, I was like, crap, I'm enjoying this. I'm laughing a lot. And you're not. And it bummed me out because, like, for some background, my favorite movie is Citizen Kane. I love old black and white movies. I always feel like I'm a 95-year-old man in the body of a 42-year-old because I love old movies.
I wish
and
Criterion would replace my Blu-ray.
Mine has had a shipping notification for a month and a half now.
It's ridiculous.
But I love these movies. One of my other favorite movies is another Marx Brothers movie. It's called A Night in Casablanca. That is hilarious. That is one of their later outings. I think it came after Duck Soup. So, it doesn't have all the Marx Brothers. But I loved... the Munsters growing up, and Addams Family, and what is it? Three Stooges. Like the Three Stooges were huge in my life.
Full transparency. I mean, this is stuff that I would have probably grown up with.
Right
now, full transparency.
Turner Classic Movies.
I liked the Three Stooges. I used to watch Three Stooges all the time.
Right.
This is the first Marx Brothers movie I have ever watched
because
I have never I know about the Marx Brothers, but I never got into them because I was like, it's kind of a Three Stooges
just
thing.
The Three Stooges, yeah.
I've already got the Three Stooges, so I've seen clips of Marx Brothers and laughed and thought, but this is the first Marx Brothers movie that I've actually sat down and watched.
See, for me, I feel like Three Stooges and Marx Brothers kind of are in the same category, except I believe the Three Stooges are more slapstick, physical comedy, whereas, yes, you get a little bit of that with the Marx Brothers, but I think a lot of it is the quick, crazy more dialogue, very witty, very vaudevillian, very just, little acts built into a movie, and that's where they differ. But yeah, I can see where if you think one's going to be like the other, you're probably not going to visit one.
Well, I thought like Harpo was more
very slapstick. And that's his gig. That's
he's
his
the character,
right? He's the Three Stooges. Whereas like Groucho was just like the one-liner, dad joke, and I love that. The other dude,
great.
The other dude couldn't. I don't know. Chico. I don't think he could do it on his own. He needed somebody there.
Well, then you got the other one, which. Zeppo. So I knew that there was. I knew there was
not even funny,
but I knew there was a fourth one.
He was the straight.
But he's just the normie of the four. So these other three are super weird. They got their costumes. They got their bits. He's just normal. I'm trying to think of what it reminds me of, because there's like it's kind of like the Munsters. He's like the Marilyn.
He's Marilyn.
The Marilyn of the Munsters.
Yeah, he looks normal.
But he did leave the group because he was tired of being.
He's tired of being the
funny.
Yeah, well,
Marx
yeah,
brother.
he had done a bunch of movies prior, and yeah, Zeppo was never like the one. Like, oh, the funny one. If you're thinking of the Marx Brothers like I do, it's always Harpo, Chico, and Groucho.
Right.
Zeppo is like whatever.
Fuck you,
he's the
Zeppo.
fourth Jew. People don't care about him as much. So when he quit, I don't think it was such a big deal. And that's why, like, Night in Casablanca, I think, came in much after. I think it was Paramount that had him originally. So after they moved studios back in the day to MGM or whatever, they did A Night in Casablanca, and Zeppo was never a part of it. Yeah. So my first foray into the Marx Brothers was that movie. So when I went back and watched some of like Animal Crackers, I'm like, who's this fucker? I don't know this guy. And apparently, yeah, he had left the group right after Duck Soup.
Well, he was in the movie.
Oh, you
and
Duck Soup was their first film.
Yeah, he was in.
Duck
He
Soup was not their first film.
No, apparently. So I was just reading this. Their first film was never released.
But Duck Soup chronologically would be in their first film. It was 1933.
Well, no, I think they had something in 1932. They had like Horse Feathers. They had what was it? Animal Crackers. They did another one that I believe was almost a direct translation of a vaudeville stage show that they did once. I can't honestly think of the name off the top of my head.
Because I looked it up like in order, and that's all I found. So maybe I'm not hitting the history books.
Says their first movie was called Humor Risk.
Okay.
It was filmed in 1921.
Jesus,
but was never released. So never released. So their cinematic debut never saw completion, despite.
Weird.
Yeah,
I know. Like with this one, this is kind of like their anti-war movie, which is kind of hilarious considering what happens in it.
it's war. Yeah, I kind of saw it as almost a spoof on government.
Yes,
in general.
Oh,
I mean,
from
it was
beginning to end.
More or less the war thing. I saw how relevant it is to today's government.
Weird, right?
Because most people who've been around the table long enough know that government never changes.
No,
just the faces change. It's the same shtick, and it's the same bullshit all the time.
Well,
and it's funny how a movie from the 1930s is still subjectively relevant today.
Yeah, and this is right as I believe like Hitler was going to come into power, and Mussolini, and all this stuff was happening. So they make this movie, and the movie starts off with this government of this small country called Fredonia is in debt because their government spent all the money, like just a bunch of bullshit. So they had to raise taxes on the people. And instead of lowering taxes and trying to figure stuff out, they're like, well, we're just going to borrow more money from this rich white woman. And she's like, well, no, you can't have the money. You can have the money, but I'm going to put somebody else in power because obviously you guys can't handle it.
My puppet,
my guy. And that's where we get introduced to Groucho's character, Rufus T. Firefly, which is the fucking best name ever.
I wonder if I can get Kim to name our new kid that.
Rufus.
So Aaron and I both
Rufus
looked because I said with the movie that we were watching, it was probably like some kind of a digitally remastered movie.
Yeah, it looked great.
And he shows up on screen, and I look at Aaron and I go, I never knew his fucking mustache was painted.
Oh yeah,
I'm like, I always thought that was his real,
or like
I'm
so excited for you guys.
Mustache.
Like I really am genuinely excited because like
I had to
I've
Google
been into
why
him for so long. There's just this thing.
No, it wasn't his thing.
It said because he did not like the prosthetic pieces. He said
because they used to do the stage show with his brothers, and he would always have to put on his prosthetic, and it would take forever. He said that one day, and then one day he showed up late for the stage show, and he just all they had was shoe polish, so he painted it on.
Oh man, and it is most ridiculous. Like it's not even like just like a fake little tiny mustache. This thing goes from like nostrils out and around, and it is the like. When you're watching it and you get a good shot of his face, that is clearly just drawn on with, like you said, shoe polish. Yeah. And it's just fantastical.
It says phony glue-on facial hair. It can be a pain to remove and reapply. So Groucho would simply paint the stash and some exaggerated eyebrows on his face. It says, however, the mustache he later rocked at the host of his famous quiz show, You Bet Your Life, was 100% real.
Yes.
I told you that last night.
Yeah, and I've actually seen the You Bet Your Life, and the one where the duck comes down, and I've seen that old game show because I think at one point in whatever you guys want to say, I don't fucking care about the world. Bill Cosby used to do one. They redid it, and he hosted that for a while back in the I think 90s.
Are you worried about us being?
No, just everybody. No, you guys. I don't care.
Bill Cosby. How dare you?
No,
mention him on our
I just know people get all weird about it.
I know.
Listen,
it's like
you can take
never to be brought up.
You can
Ever.
take Bill Cosby's recent charades out. We can admit that Bill Cosby was a funny comedian.
Oh yeah,
and we had the Cosby Show, which is great. That stuff I could separate from all the stuff,
and that's I think today's biggest problem. And without trying to get all weird and political, because we're talking about duck soup,
you like
separating art from artists is something you just got to learn to do. Well, he should have never had a platform in the first place. Well, he did.
Get over it.
And it was incredible.
And he was funny.
So what are you going to do about it?
Right.
Dude, the old tapes where he talked about Fat Albert and created all those characters. I mean, I used to sit and listen to those as a kid.
You're old enough to remember.
I'm a
I don't know
tape
if
guy.
Aaron ever watched these. Did you remember that show he used to do where he had those pens that would always make those noises when he drew? And it was like do 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 do. Like he draw pictures.
I remember.
I can't remember the
something
name
about that.
And I remember you could always buy those. And they had like the pre-programmed pages where if you drew on from the one dot to the other, like the pens would make the noise. Oh, I love that show. But it was like around when Fat Albert was a thing. And I know you're a little bit younger than we are.
I love Fat Albert. I love the Cosby Show. I was a huge Cosby kid. So.
Yeah.
But
yes, Duck Soup. The reason why that went off because that game
I'll bet
show
you're
got
lying,
remade and
Picture pages.
Oh, I fucking love picture pages. Remind me of that again. I want to look that up after the fact. Yes, those are perfect. Those are exactly what I want. But yeah, Duck Soup had the original 4 Marx Brothers in it. Rufus T. Firefly is Groucho Marx. He comes in to be the new president of Fredonia, which is hilarious because I guess there was a Fredonia, Pennsylvania that got real pissed off that they were going to use that name Fredonia. And then he wrote a letter basically saying, well, why don't you change your name? You're ruining our movie. Yep. I love Groucho.
I read that as well.
They are literally those people. Outside of the movies and in the movies, these guys are like this, and I love that about them.
Hitler banned all their movies, I guess.
Mussolini.
Yeah, Mussolini,
and so did Hitler.
Oh, did he?
And then
That's weird. Hitler banned something.
He went. I guess the Marx Brothers went over to Germany and asked to see the bunker in which he killed himself, and Groucho did a 10-minute Charleston on top of the bunker, literally dancing on.
Because yes, the Marx Brothers are Jewish.
No.
Yes.
Well, they said when
Jews in
Mussolini,
Hollywood, that's new.
when Mussolini banned it, they were so ecstatic to hear that because it's like free press.
Right? Yeah, he was very happy about it. But yeah, he comes in, takes over the country, and from here on out, hilarity ensues. There is a neighboring country called Sylvania that wants to basically take over Fredonia, so they want to figure out a way to distract him with some Spanish woman who, honestly, she was supposed to be a big part of the plot, I guess, and was almost pointless. You could have written her completely out of the movie, and I wouldn't have noticed one way or the other. And then, the leader of Sylvania is trying to get with the older woman who's got all the money just to kind of take over. And basically, Groucho gets into it with him, and
he's trying to goat him into slapping him, but he winds up slapping the other dude instead because of all the slapstick and the comedy and stuff. And then the Chico and Harpo,
they're spies.
They're spies. Yes, the worst spies.
I was just going to say, quotation mark spies.
So we followed him.
Yeah,
but it wasn't the guy. It's the whole everybody in this movie. Everybody in this movie surrounding these guys must have had the biggest headaches, just as characters, because they are just. I'm watching this going. This is Robin Williams if he was in 1933.
Right.
This is frantic, quick lines, just over the top craziness.
All
Marx Brothers.
Jokes.
Yeah, they were so quick.
They were so quick, and we were laughing, so you would miss half the jokes.
Yeah, they're the one. One of my favorite jokes was they're doing skipping ahead a little bit. They were doing a trial because Chico got caught, and they were going to try him for treason. And he goes something about dollars, and he goes, "Oh, my cousin's from Dollars." He goes, "What?" And he goes, "Texas." "Oh, not Texas. Dollars and taxes." "Oh yeah, that's where he's from. Dollars, taxes." And then they shake hands and this is so stupid. The lines are so stupid.
I remember that. I was like, "Oh, do you get it? Dollars,
taxes."
Yep.
You just want to hit people in the ribs. You're like,
The bit that got me in this movie that I
was it Peanuts?
Audibly,
I did like the Peanuts.
I audibly laughed out loud was so every time Harpo's like his limo driver, right? And he's got a motorcycle with a sidecar.
Get the president's car.
Yeah, so every time Groucho Firefly jumps into the sidecar, Harpo takes off and just leaves him sitting there. So then we get to the point where he finally, after about the third time, he realizes and he goes, no, you don't fool me again. He jumps on the motorcycle, and I look at Aaron and I go, that fucking sidecar is going to take off. And the fucking sidecar takes off. And he's like, I saw it coming, and it's still fucking funny.
Yeah, because the first time he's like, get the president's car. And then he pulls up, and he gets in the sidecar, and Harpo takes off. And then he gets out, and he goes, wow, so nice to be back here again. It's like, oh, my God. And then, it happens like 2 more times. And then he's like, no, you're not going to fool me again.
Not fooling me.
Boom, takes off. I'm like, this movie's so fucking great.
And I looked, and I go, dude, we saw it coming, dude, and it's still fucking funny.
Right. Like, I like the whole hat bit with the lemonade vendor, and they were the peanut vendors.
Oh, my goodness.
And then, like, he's cutting, like, the whole movie, Harpo's taking this giant fucking pair of scissors and cutting things in half. Even to the point where there was a cut off screen. The guy walks in with half a hat.
That was my
and he's like,
part, yeah.
damn it. Throws it down. But, like, he's cutting people's pockets with, like,
Their
he pulls their
ties,
pocket out and cuts a hole and then, like, puts peanuts in it and is using it as a bag.
I didn't understand why he was torturing that guy so hard.
Because he was just there.
That dude's just trying to sell his peanuts, and he's like, all right, whatever, I'll sell my lemonade. And he decides to take a bath in the lemonade.
Stick his feet in the lemonade.
Damn, dude.
Like, they're just fucking with him. Like, they're stealing his hat. They're messing with his stuff. Oh, man.
The guy just gets so pissed, finally he just tips the cart over.
And then they fucked with him so much throughout this movie that later on, Harpo gets into this woman's house. He sees her through the window changing. He gets in. I'm like, ooh, 1933? She's in, like, her underwear and bra. I'm like, that must have been racy at the time.
Very.
And then, like, the
husband... cleavage in this movie,
and then she's like, my husband's home here. And they, like, hides him in the bathroom. And the husband comes home, and it's the fucking lemonade vendor.
Yeah.
And she goes, we're going to war. And he goes, I want to take a bath first. And he goes in there, gets in the bath, and he's relaxing. And you hear, womp. And it's like, what the fuck? And it's like, womp. And it's the horn from Harpo. I don't know how they did this, but he was in the bath. This is a small bath. This gentleman from the lemonade stand is big dude. And Harpo gets out of the bath with him and then leaves. And I'm like, how the fuck did they do that? It's like, what the hell happened? They messed with him the whole movie, and it just made me laugh. Because they're just like, hands in his pockets, sticking his leg up in there, cutting stuff in half. And
that whole part with the hat,
so
the whole part with the hats where they were going back and forth.
Switching all three of them.
Very Three Stooges.
Yes.
And that's exactly what it reminded me of.
It's a very vaudeville thing.
Yeah,
that's a stage. That's a stage bit. Like, that's physical comedy. You had mentioned the mirror gag.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where so he goes in. The Harpo and Chico are dressed up as Groucho, and
to me that was the best part of the entire movie.
And they're trying to con the woman to ending the war or whatever before it happens. And at one point, Harpo runs into the room, breaks a mirror, and then gets on the other side of the mirror. So then when Groucho comes in, he's mirroring everything. And apparently they filmed that in 2 hours. One take, done. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah, I read that as well. I've always been a huge fan of that gag. I don't know why. It's just always been the most entertaining gag.
They did it again on I Love Lucy.
Yeah, I'm sure they've done it in a ton of sitcoms.
I'm
just saying, like, that's always just been one of my most favorites.
But yeah,
gags in the entire world.
They are. It is very slapstick. It is. If you like fun, quick dialogue, even for the time, it is. This movie is fun.
Super
quick. It is really fun.
You gotta, if you're laughing,
you'll miss things.
You gotta pay attention because you're gonna miss stuff.
Yeah, and then that's why it was hard to Google and like watch the movie. But I mean, I was able to,
especially
make it
with
work.
Groucho.
Yeah,
he's so fast. Like at one point, he goes to the woman. He goes, "All right, I'm gonna go to the theater. I'm gonna save you a seat. When you get there, you're on your own." And it's like he's messing with this woman so much, and then he's like, "I love you. Marry me." And it's like he's just so quick. He's like,
he's talking about her ex-husband.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, now I know why he's your ex-husband."
Right. He's like, "Oh, he must have." She's like, "I was with him to the end." He's like, "Well, then it was murder." I was like, "Oh my god!" And then he's like, "Wait, did you leave you any money?" And then something. Answer the second one first.
Yeah.
He's like, "You left your money, but then I love you."
Yep.
And it's just
I'm in love with you now because you're rich.
So quick, and he's like this in pretty much every movie, and that's why I really loved A Night in Casablanca. It's the same shit. Like, I mean, it's just, quick dialogues, all kinds of stuff. This is one of the only movies. So Harpo plays the actual harp, and he does a bit in all of his movies where he actually plays the harp, and Chico plays the piano and stuff like that. This is one of the only movies that they never actually incorporated that into the movie. for the most part, they usually do it. And this is also one of the only ones where all four did a musical number together.
I read that as well.
Yeah, so
trivia on IMDb.
But yeah, I mean, this was fun for me. Like I personally enjoyed it. And I was actually scared after watching it, going, for me,
you don't have to be. I love old.
No, but you see, like for me, I have a fondness for this kind of stuff because this is the kind of stuff I was already into. For me to say, okay, you know, Scott. I mean, I wouldn't have pegged Scott to enjoy this as much as I did. And to hear you guys were actually really laughing at it is actually kind of fun for me.
Kim texted us at one point to be quiet.
She's like, shut up.
Yeah. She's like, can you turn it down?
Yeah.
Like, that's not the movie.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Everything you said is true, and all that stuff. To me personally, and this isn't, if we have to say something negative about this film, which we don't technically do, but I thought the ending did not work that well.
They end their movies quick. Like
No, I get that, but what I thought the whole war stuff, I thought that was just too. It almost felt tacked on. Like everything else kind of had a purpose. Then when they get to the war, it was like, how much can we throw? Like almost like
it became almost a legit war movie for
It's a quick ending because it's like, oh shit, we got 5 minutes, we gotta wrap this up.
Yeah, and you know what it felt like to me is when you're watching fireworks and at the end there's like a grand finale. It almost felt like a grand finale for a movie where they just threw as many jokes, as many one-liners, and as many like sight gags as possible, and it kind of was almost too much, if that's such a thing. So I think if I had to be like, okay, the ending of this is not on par with the same as like the beginning or the mirror scene or that whole scene with them in the trying to get the plans to the war and all that stuff. But it still works. It's just not, to me, it just was too fast.
It's funny because funny. Yeah, a lot of their dialogue is very fast. A lot of this did feel fast for me too. And it's funny because you get to a point where you recognize the formula, so you can almost predict the next joke that's about to happen. So when they had the guy in the door and they nailed him up as the stocks and they're throwing like fruit at him, the second that old woman started singing, I'm like, they're gonna turn and throw shit at that woman too. And sure enough, they turn and start throwing it, and then the end. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's the end. But
the movie film, it plays just like a stage play.
Yes.
So the way that it's filmed, it's like somebody set up a camera. They're on stage. They're doing their scene. Boom. Fade. New set comes in real quick.
Right.
Boom. We're filming again. And that's how the whole movie played out.
Yeah,
because
especially when they're doing that door gag, you can almost see the door like fall off the hinges and open and stuff. But yeah, no, I absolutely love this movie. So I mean, not to bury the lead, where do we want to give our scores? Where'd you go, Jordan?
For me, nostalgic. I love this stuff. This was, things that I enjoy, and like I love new movies. I love the technology, the way they've gotten to do stuff. But sometimes it's nice to see something with a story, with some funny jokes that actually still feel like they could be done today. And I just enjoy that kind of thing. I don't mind that it was in black and white. I actually kind of enjoy that kind of stuff because I think you tend to see a lot more detail in black and white where you're not thrown off by. It's like when we watch Tragedy Macbeth. I feel like I was paying attention to things that I normally probably would gloss over if it was in full Technicolor. For me, this is a 4. I really do enjoy these kinds of movies. I know Aaron's frowning because it's not a 3.5 because that's what I would give his movie. But for me, I can't. I'm actually gonna go and watch the other 4 movies on that box set that we got. I've seen Animal Crackers, but I don't think I've seen the other 2. So I'll probably go back and watch those. And this one's one that I can go back and rewatch and probably catch new jokes that, you're right, if I was laughing through something, I probably would have missed it. It's going to be new to me. So I liked it a lot.
No, I wasn't frowning because you didn't give it a 3.5. I was actually frowning because we're going to have the same score again. I really don't like doing that. But 4,
sometimes
yeah.
You just got to like stuff.
100% 4 is almost would be a 5.
I'm gonna be the asshole.
I would almost be a 5. I think, like I said, the only thing that brings it down is that ending, just a little too quick for me, just a little too out there. But I would recommend this to anyone. To me,
this is something I would watch in like a film school.
Absolutely. I told Scott this. It reminds me of my heart, fucking Looney Tunes. Like all of that stuff felt like Looney Tunes to me. It felt good. I'd let my kid watch this. I loved the jokes. I loved it all. The sight gag. Oh, it's 4. I definitely want to go watch the other movies in the set now. They're they're not long movies, so you don't feel like you're sitting there all day watching a movie.
I didn't check the runtime, but it did feel like it progressed pretty quickly.
70 minutes long.
Oh, God bless it.
And it told its entire story. It did its whole thing in 70 minutes, and it was just it was a quick 70 minutes. And I know I'm saying, well, but you said the ending was too fast. They could have ended it the way they started it without all the craziness, but I get it, man. I get this is what people wanted back in the day, so I'm not killing it too hard for that. I really loved this movie.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the same way, and I'm not going to change my score based on what you guys said.
No, you don't have to. We'll give you shit, but you don't have to.
I'm giving it a strong 3.5.
Okay.
I think it's like it is what it is. It's funny. It's comedic. It's like a stage play. I don't know if I can justify giving it a 4 as a whole, like a movie, and sit there and say like, oh, this is a fantastic movie. People say this is their masterpiece. I don't know, because now I'm going to have to start checking some of their other stuff out because I just haven't really sat down and watched their movies. I think, but for me, it's a strong 3.5 out of 5, which I think is good. I mean, again, I laughed. There was some shit that made me laugh hard. The motorcycle bit freaking made me laugh.
3.5?
I still just when you mentioned, I
just don't know if I can justify in my brain. I don't know if I can justify a 4 being if I'm taking the movie as a whole. Like it'd be like me giving a Stooge movie like
what's a 4 to you?
Like a 4 needs to be something up there, like really.
Like, give me an example.
Like something that's gonna blow me away. This is stuff that I've seen before.
RoboCop 2.
Yes.
Give me an example.
The Hannah Montana
What
movie.
did you give Secret Invasion? A 5?
Invasion USA?
No, I gave it like a 2.5. I think.
Oh yeah, our scores were
2.5 is like
our scores were low on
2.5's down the middle. I think a 3.5 is like really good. I think it's really good. It's just weird because like I try to set my score, and then I don't want to be influenced with how you guys do it, because I don't want to change that for the sake of like going, oh man, maybe I did too low.
Yeah.
I think that there's movies out there that are really good movies. I just think this is a good time. It's funny.
Yeah.
It's a good watch. Yeah, there's some issues with like kind of the story and the way it ended, and it kind of like frantically ends. But it's just a good, funny watch to sit down and just bring the jokes in. I just don't know if it's a 4 level for me when it comes to comedy.
Do you think your daughters would enjoy this? Because they're older, so like they have already been indoctrinated in what movies are like
funny.
now.
She'd be like,
my daughters aren't funny. They are the complete polar opposites
dry
of
toast
me.
bastards.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, my oldest daughter loves cartoons and Disney movies, which is funny.
That's true, because one of them watched Scary Movie with us, and I heard no laughter coming from that side of the couch. So maybe you're right.
My youngest daughter is just light years above her age, where she likes to watch, more, I think, more adult style stuff.
Gotcha.
And
intellectual movies.
Yeah, she like Grey's Anatomy, and she like watches things like that. I'm stupid, and I love watching.
We know.
I love watching, slapstick shit, man.
Yeah.
I like stupid comedies, man.
Idiocracy, Dax Shepard.
Oh,
But does it have balls kicking in it?
You go kick me in the balls.
Balls?
Yeah, let's go watch Jackass. Let's watch people get hit in the face with a freaking soccer ball. I mean, that stuff makes me laugh. But I don't know. I think it's like I said. I think 3.5 for me. It's a strong 3.5.
Oh, and I'm not
I
gonna
think
question it.
I think it's. I enjoyed it. I would recommend this movie.
I'm not gonna lie. Like I said, after that text last night, I was like, "Crap, they're watching it, or he's watching it, and he's just not enjoying this movie."
You can picture Aaron with his arms crossed on the couch.
I'm not gonna lie. Like, and you know what? And I'm not gonna give anybody shit for their scores. I will not judge anybody for scoring it a certain way. But I honestly walked in here thinking you didn't enjoy this at all. No, and it bums me out because I thoroughly enjoyed it.
We loved it. I mean, you can ask Scott. We were both just so into it last night. It was late, so it was getting a little rough. But other than that, we both loved the hell out of it. So
that's awesome. I'm very happy about that, because I think, especially with them, their comedy translates to now. Like, there are things in this that fucking...
First and foremost,
I don't know who could do it nowadays, this kind of comedy, but if there was somebody nowadays that kind of embodied this same kind of thing...
Pratt. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean...
He's in everything.
Right. but it's very slapstick and it's fun.
I don't think you could do that comedy.
But
now.
the thing is, the jokes still are really funny.
They're
like
funny
they translate well. Like if they did the motorcycle bit now doing it, I would laugh my ass. That's a Naked Gun movie.
Exactly.
That is the Naked Gun.
But that's what we grew up with.
Right.
I don't think I could sit my kids down and they would probably go, "This is boring."
Yeah,
this is boring. They're not listening to the one-liners. You know, they might see some of the physical stuff and go, "That's funny." You know,
it's like, why does he keep putting his leg in that guy's hand? I was like, because he can.
We have a different perspective on comedy because that's kind of what we grew up on. Like I said, we grew up with Looney Tunes. We grew up with the Three Stooges.
Yeah, this is a live action Looney Tunes. You're right. I mean,
we grew up with
what it felt like.
Yeah, Naked Gun,
giant mallet, and just hit him in the head with something.
Airplane, just dumb.
And that's what
comedy.
This reminds me of. It reminds me of like where, like I said, they were very stage actors, vaudeville. Like this is where I think the Airplanes and the Naked Guns and all those spoof movies.
Well, and there's a reference in there that I looked at Aaron because at one point Groucho does this little kick with his feet, and I go, "Oh, that's Peter Venkman from Ghostbusters."
Yes.
When he does the little foot kick where he's going across the top of the thing, and I'm like, "That's a Marx Brothers thing, man."
Yeah. And it's just so good. Like
You're saying the Marx Brothers got it from Ghostbusters?
Yes, that's it.
I know.
Yeah.
Time travel. It's a time travel movie. We did it. But see, yeah, like I liked Abbott and Costello movies because I did take a couple film classes back in the day, and that's what they would show, like Abbott and Costello and Marx Brothers and a lot of those older movies.
Hey,
so
first and foremost, I am a film fan before anything else. I'm always going to give a film a fair shake, no matter if it's.
I didn't say you're not. I didn't say you're going to go into it going, "Oh, this sucks." I just thought you were in watching it and like just didn't find the jokes as funny as I did.
I loved it. I'm a huge, like I said, huge Looney Tunes guy. So
awesome.
Yeah, it was good. We laughed.
No, I'm glad. Honestly, I'm really glad you did. Like whether or not you liked it or not, I'm just glad you found some enjoyment in it.
I just think it is what it is. It's a funny slapstick type.
Yeah.
Sit
I'm
down,
not even going to put it in the
laugh.
category of the turn your brain off kind of comedy, like because you have to be paying attention to this.
It's thinky.
You have to think about it, but it's so good.
It's witty. There's a lot of witty humor in it. And a lot of comeback, lines, and you got to be paying attention, because it is very,
especially
very
with Groucho's on screen because he is a mile a minute. Like,
his
introduction to the movie is they're trying to say, "Oh, here comes the new president," and they're singing the song of Fredonia, and they get this big thing, and he's asleep. This is 10 o'clock at night, and he's in bed, and
he comes to the back door.
He comes down the fire pole, and then he's like, "Hey, what's going on?" And then he's like, "We're waiting for the president." And then he's like standing next to him, and he's like doing the little salute like everybody else. And then like, how long would he have stood there waiting for himself to come down the stairs had the woman not say, "Oh, Mr. Firefly," and then like. He's just like, oh my god! Just the way he does things is so.
It's the type
fast.
of movie where three people could sit around a table.
I would laugh
you can
so
watch
hard.
it and you can talk about all the funny things in the movie, because there's a lot of like I said, there's one-liners, just some of the stupid things with the salute and the sidecars and shit like that. Where you can laugh about it, and it is what it is, man. It's just funny shit. Would it translate today to people to some younger generation? I don't know, and I would dare to say I don't think so.
I would think they'd have to be indoctrinated pretty early on before they really got too into things. Like I think with Aaron, if you could get Parker kind of getting into this early on, you might be able to.
Well, I want
him appreciate
him to watch
it,
Looney Tunes and stuff, but right now it's all educational. So hopefully soon.
It's nothing educational about Looney Tunes.
I just
learn how to drop anvils on people's heads.
So good.
But okay, so that was Duck Soup from 1933. We are now moving on to Scott's pick. What is your pick? And after you pick this, I have some words for you.
For me?
From our sponsor.
He's going to scream at me. From our best-selling author. New York Times best-selling author. Anyways, so this movie, like I told you guys, and I had another movie on deck. I play softball during the week, and I was chatting with one of the guys that's on my team, Tito. Shout out to Tito.
We're gonna get to him. We're gonna get to Tito. Don't you worry. Hope you enjoy a show about you, Tito. I hope you enjoy this section.
So we were talking about. He was talking about Oscar movies, and I'm like, "Oh, you and my brother-in-law would get along great because you guys are into that type of stuff."
I don't know about that.
And he said, "Have you ever heard of this movie?" He's like, "This is one of my favorite movies." And I looked it up, and I said, "You know what? This is one of my favorite movies." And he said, "Have you ever heard of this movie?" He's like, "This is one of my favorite movies." And I said, "You know what? This is one of my favorite movies." And I looked it up, and I said, "You know what? This is one of my favorite movies." And I looked it up, and I said, "You know what? This is one of my favorite movies." And I looked it up, and I said, "You know what? This is one of my favorite movies." And I looked it up, and I said, "You know what? This is one of my favorite movies." And I looked it up, and I said, "You know what? This is one of my favorite movies." And I looked it up, and I said, "You know what? This is one of my favorite movies." And I looked it up, and I said, "You know what? This is one of my favorite movies." And I looked it up, and I said, "You know what? This is one of my favorite movies." And I looked it up, and I said, "You know what I'm going to pick this movie based on a recommendation of a now listener.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
Honestly, like we need more people to say, "Hey, I like this movie," where I can write back and say, "Fuck you," but you know this guy, so we'll pick his movie.
So my pick is from 2002. It's directed by Fernando Meirelles and Katja Lund. It is City of God.
Nominated for 4 Academy Awards, including Best Director and Best Adapted Screenplay. Rio de Janeiro, the beach, the nightlife, the romance. But 15 miles from paradise is a place called the City of God. A place where one man must infiltrate a war between 2 crime lords to tell a story the world needs to know. City of God.
So this is a subtitled
What?
movie.
Okay, so let me just go ahead and remind you of a little movie we watched a couple weeks ago called Memories of.
Someone just had a stroke.
Wow!
Yeah. Right here.
See, he's so worked up, he just gave himself a fucking
called
stroke.
Memories of a Murder.
We finally saw
now
that
you
one.
want to send me screenshots of Tito? Is it saying I totally agree with you? I totally agree.
Yes, because it just validates my
Shut
point.
up. Of him saying, "Hey, I agree." Subtitles totally takes you out of the movie.
That's not what he said.
And
That's not what he said. Let me read it. You want me to read the screenshot?
go ahead.
He says,
Please, because this will be funny.
okay, so the screenshot is, he says, I'm on Team Scott. He says, I agree. Now, I'm paraphrasing because I can't pull it up right now. I'm too slow. He says, I'm on Team Scott. He's like, I agree. Sometimes subtitles can be distracting. Or what did he say? He said they could be.
You have the
I know, I can't pull it
Not
up.
liking subtitles isn't an intelligence thing.
Yes.
It's an inconvenience.
It's
Says
not-
the man who just picked his favorite movie,
correct.
City of God.
So how the fuck, Tito, is it an inconvenience when your favorite movie or whatever has subtitles? Also, one of the Oscar movies this year is a subtitle fucking movie. You know why? Because everything is not.
I think
there's not a bubble around.
I think
Shush.
you're going
I am
overboard.
not. There is not a bubble around America where everything is made in America and it's all cut. Here's some pretty roses and blah blah blah. Sometimes, if you want to experience emotionally amazing cinema, stop filming me. You have to read the subtitles. Boon Joon-ho said it the best.
Bong Joon-ho.
Yeah. Once you get past
Doesn't even know.
the 2 inches of subtitles, you are open to so much more cinema. So, in the fact that you're
I agree. I agree.
And the fact that you railed so hard about Memories of Murder and
Nope.
the stupid subtitles,
Nope.
go back and listen to the
Yes.
motherfucking episode, and you pick a subtitled movie, makes this incredibly interesting. Now, with that said, if you rate this movie lower because of the subtitles, I'm going to punch you in the dick. Because you are not allowed to bring up subtitles anymore. You have now picked 2 foreign films, and I think 2 with subtitles. So shut the fuck up.
No,
subtitles
I
are
haven't picked
great.
it. This is
It's
the
a
first
great
subtitle
way to-
one that I picked.
I thought, no, I'm thinking of Santa Claus versus Devil, but that was just a...
Oh, that was
international.
yeah, that was
Like,
dubbed over.
heavily dubbed.
But I so
Really
No,
like that
but I
movie.
get what he's saying because he.
of course you do. Of course you do, because you're not sitting across from you,
he's
and you're not
Team Tito.
fucking trying to fuck with him.
No, you're thinking of an inconvenience. An inconvenience is something minor. It's not taking you away from something that's good.
It
It's an
doesn't.
inconvenience because it does. It is a minor inconvenience where it does distract you at some point.
No, it doesn't.
It can, and that's what I'm saying
If
is
you can't read.
no. It's not even the fact that you can't read. It's just when it's your double duty, and when you're watching a subtitled movie.
No, you're
he's
not.
giving me this fucking weird face. When you have to double duty, so I like to watch the movie. I'm moving around. I'm looking at like background sets.
Then
I'm looking at
stop
people.
it.
I'm looking at things but I want to see. I'm a visual person. I want to see the movie.
Yeah, we
that's
get
like
it.
that's like
You
that's like
can't get
that's
it
like
unless
people
it's a
fucking
fucking
saying
coloring book.
That's like people. I buy Playboy for the articles. Fuck off. You buy Playboy. You
shit,
buy
there's
it for the
articles in
visuals.
there?
God damn it. So it's the same thing. it can be an inconvenience at times. And it's not saying that it is an inconvenience. It can be an inconvenience. And I get what he's saying is like sometimes it just takes you.
He's my best friend, so I get it.
No, it just takes you
play
off
softball together, so I get what he's saying.
It takes you off the line a little bit.
I know you fucking explained this last time we did the subtitle movies, but look, it's because of what he said.
But he's saying that this is his favorite movie. He's like, this is one of my favorite movies.
Then he should have never wrote that.
because he agrees with me, because he knows I'm right.
No, because
he knows
you guys
I'm right.
are playing softball and getting drunk together, and he forgets what he fucking says. So all I'm going to say is, yes, I'm very excited to watch this movie. I've always been recommended City of God. I was told that this was one of the best movies ever made. It's on a bunch of my friends' top 10 lists of all time. Now, this is just one of those movies where I was always like, I found something better to watch. So this is a perfect movie for this film, because I have literally held this DVD, in my hand and gone to buy it and then just been like, maybe next time.
Well, this
maybe
is on
next
many
time.
lists. Like when he recommended, I looked it up because I was like, have you ever heard of City of God? And I said, I don't think so. And I looked it up and I said, nope, I've seen this cover every time, because I internets a lot when it comes to movies, because I look at people's lists. I look at like
he needs the internet to tell him what to do.
No, because sometimes you have to have a lot of reference. So it's just looking through catalogs and finding movies that like I may have never seen that people are talking about, and I want to jot those movies down. So I've happened to see this on a lot of lists where people have said this is kind of in my top list of like movies that might not be popular but are good sleeper movies where people really enjoy them. And I mean, it does get good ratings. I mean, again, subjective, but we're gonna roll with it.
Yeah, it's a period movie from the 1970s. Well, it was made in 2003, but it takes place in the 1970s in the favelas of Rio de Janeiro. The entire cast is pretty much, I would say, unknown to anybody except for one actress. Her name is Alice Braga. She has been in a number of movies, including, I believe, Predators, the one with
Aaron's favorite movie.
Oh, the one where they get all transported to the Predator planet.
Oh,
she's in that one. That's not a good movie at all. But yeah, she's been in a few more mainstream movies, I Am Legend, things like that. But for the most part, she was in Suicide Squad, the newest one, I believe, as well.
What does she play? Ratcatcher?
No, Ratcatcher's from Portugal. And she is a 10 out of 10 in my book. I honestly, I can't probably tell you. Probably a bit part. But yeah, for the most part, she's probably the more recognizable actress. Everybody else is... it's a foreign movie. I mean, they actually filmed it in the poorest neighborhoods and favelas of Rio de Janeiro. So I expect it to be very gritty.
Yay.
I wouldn't know because I'll be reading the whole time.
I'll be
I
reading
can't
the
really
fucking
look
There's
at
no way to tell because of all the subtitles.
But yeah, no, I'm glad you picked this. It's honestly out of left field for you, so this is interesting.
I'm branching out,
'Cause
man.
he wants this guy
I'm
to
branching
love
out.
it.
It's not that it's unintelligent.
I'm happy.
I'm broadening my cinema.
I'm glad that you'll take Tito's word over ours, but it's cool. But no, I'm
one of the
I'm excited
directors
for it.
also directed The Constant Gardener, which I loved. So
That was a long movie.
yeah, it was.
It was good though.
Scott would have
That
fucking
English
hated
pacing,
it.
just
The
like,
constant gardener. Does he just sit there digging holes in his garden?
Yep, that's what it's about. That's what it's about.
these
Scott.
stupid rabbits keep getting on my carrots.
Fucking rube. Anyways,
Let's talk about Uncharted.
yes, we all saw Uncharted. It came out yesterday. If you want to go see Uncharted, what did you think, Scott? Because you don't have any association with the video game.
Zero.
You don't know anything about Nathan Drake. You don't know anything about the
Sully
lore
or anybody.
Yeah.
This movie, I mean, knowing nothing about the series, it stands on its own. You for somebody who doesn't know anything about it, people will go watch this and enjoy it. It's very. I said it's Goonies with the score of like Pirates of the Caribbean. It has that kind of big, orchestra score to it, and they make it very adventure-y. And there's some things that are way out left field on this when it comes to, and this is, again, you've seen this in the previews.
This is a formula movie.
Yeah, if you haven't seen the preview to this, I mean, you're going to see it if you watch the trailer, where he is jumping from the baggage things hanging from the back of the baggage crates hanging from the back of the plane.
Yes.
And he's literally defying fucking gravity.
It's his video game. I mean, this movie is a legit video game.
Yes, and so that might take me out where like somebody that doesn't know the video game is going to sit there and say, this is so far-fetched. I sat there and said, okay, I have to realize that this is based off a video game. The helicopters that are, pulling the ships and doing the whole thing in the air. Yeah, I mean, I sit there and go, okay,
fun.
this
honestly,
this is
really
a
fun.
video game, and I need to. This is one of those. It's a turn your brain off moment.
So, with that said, I will say what I told you last night, because you're like, well, Aaron, you have told me that you don't like turn your brain off films, and that is still correct when it comes to Fast and the Furious and all that shit. It doesn't treat you like you're stupid. It does not treat you like you're stupid.
You mean like 2012 now?
It realizes how dumb it's being.
Yes.
To the point where it like directly mocks it with using like characters for the video game and stuff. It knows that it's ridiculous, and therefore that's okay in my book. Once you know that you're ridiculous, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, ridiculous and talking down to the audience and treating the audience stupid versus we know we're dumb but we're having fun with it is kind of two different things.
So I don't want to give anyone any grand delusions. This is not a good movie. However, this is a fun movie, and I think that there's plenty of there to build off of in order to make a good movie. I really enjoyed Nathan and his brother's relationship. I would like to see that explored more. Wahlberg and Holland are fucking fantastic together. Don't care what you say. Don't care. Come at me. You know the fucking, the Instagrams. Dude, they're amazing together. I found myself really enjoying their relationship, even during all the stupid, crazy stunts and all that stuff. That was my favorite part of the film. The story, come on.
It's a choose your own adventure. I mean, it's just like, this is
you also get the heist aspect.
Yeah,
it does have a little bit of a heist aspect
/ buddy cop. My biggest
this
problem.
Is a formula movie. This is the same
Indiana
shit where it's
Jones.
like it'll follow the same beats as any other treasure hunt movie, and that's what I told you the other day when I watched it. I was like, I'm a sucker for treasure hunt movies.
Me too.
National Treasure. I'll watch every month, every
Had
year.
a little bit of that.
I watch that every year. I watched the second one. I love all these kinds of Goonies. Things that they're just adventure and it just one-eyed Willie shit.
Oh
like,
yeah,
I love that kind
he
of
pops
stuff.
up when those two ships are there. I was like, I bet you One-Eyed Willie.
But I'm a sucker for those, and for some background, I love the video games. I've played through all of them. I just bought the remaster. I've been going through part 4 again. I love the character, and I loved it so much. I think Nathan Fillion would have been a great Nathan Drake as an adult. This movie has been in production hell for probably well over 10 years.
Well over.
And at one point, Mark Wahlberg signed on probably 6 years ago, and I'm like, well,
Nathan.
that's it. They're ruining the movie. Like, I'm done. And I think he was going to play Nathan Drake.
He was.
And then as the movie got older, he realized, I can't be him. I have to be Sully. And for me, honestly, I still don't see him as Sully. I didn't like the fact that he was going to be Sully because the character in the movie, in the video games, is older. He's got white hair. He's got the salt and pepper mustache. He's very grizzled. He's always got the cigar, and I see him as a different person. That being said, I enjoyed this way more than I wanted to.
Right.
I really went in going, I'm just here to talk about it on the show.
Right.
And I left going, fuck, I was smiling. I was enjoying what I was watching. Some of the dialogue was okay, but I think the story was fun. And you're right. It's a just go in and enjoy something movie.
Yeah.
I left just going, God damn it, I liked it. And I didn't want to. This is one of those, I didn't have an open mind. I wanted to just be shitting on this movie constantly for all the stuff. Even when Tom Holland was put into this movie, I'm sitting there going, fuck, he's too young to be Nathan Drake.
When he does all his little flippies and stuff, though,
he's fantastic. He's Spider-Man.
I like to think it's Spider-Man. I kept looking at
this is the parkour movie.
Scott,
like, this is legit. He's like parkouring the fucking entire time.
And said, oh, that just makes me miss Spider-Man.
Well, I said, and I quote, after watching the first time I saw this trailer, I'm like, well, this is going to be dog shit. That's the first thing I said. I said, yeah, I go, man.
The trailer doesn't
because
sell
the
this
trailer,
movie.
they're showing him jumping from those cargo crates.
Which is the first 3 minutes.
And
of
I'm
the movie.
like, good God, man. I'm like, how do people do this and expect people to, like, take it seriously? And then when I understood that it's a video game, and I said, okay, I'm gonna go into this like thinking like it's basically a movie version of a video game.
They're flying helicopter flying giant wooden ships, and they're literally having a pirate ship battle in the air. And I'm just like, this is fucking great. Like, I'm just like, they're swinging with ropes and they're fighting with like rusty swords, and I'm just like, all right, I like this. This was fun. And the dialogue is pretty good between, like you said, with him and Wahlberg.
Yeah, but the rest
their
of
banter is fantastic.
The rest of it's terrible. At one point, I leaned into Scott and I said, "Oh, she's about to say, enjoy seeing your brother," or "I killed your brother." Or,
no, yeah, I
sure
think
enough, it was the next second.
This is one of those. Okay, this is about where I'm gonna spoil a few things. So if you don't want to hear the spoilers, fucking turn it off. Whatever. The villain in this movie you think is Antonio Banderas this entire time until about halfway through the movie. The black chick, who I fucking can't stand from the second she's on screen to the second she finally gets a ship dropped on her fucking head.
You hear that? Jordan can't stand the black chick.
I could not. I didn't like her at all.
He's gonna have to go and watch more black movies.
I watched 3 black made movies. I think I'm okay.
It's like saying your Hail Marys.
And then I'm gonna go watch Kentucky Fried Movie and completely do all that out of there. No, but for me, like, she was unlikable just to be. She was just unlikable. Like, she wasn't one of those characters where she's unlikable, but that's the reason why she's good at the job. Like, there are a lot of characters where it's like, oh, I hate that guy, but that's because he's such a good actor. He made me hate him.
Her name is Tati Gabriel.
She's terrible. I don't like the way she was acting. I didn't like her look. I didn't like anything about that character. Nothing about her character's turn. I liked the Scottish dude way more than I liked her. And that whole little scene, even though we've seen it in the trailer, still makes me fucking laugh. He's like, "Oh, a proper Scottish welcome." And he's like, "What?" And I'm like, that's fucking hilarious. Like, it is pretty good. I understand what you're saying. No, and then he did it a couple times because, like, later on in that scene, he goes up to him and he's like, "I said," and then he does it again. And Tom Holland's like, "I still don't understand a word you're saying." And it's just, it's funny. But her character I didn't like. So I was really kind of excited to see Antonio Banderas to be the main guy. And then she kills him. And I'm like, fuck. She's the main bad guy. And it just bums me the fuck out.
Too.
Yeah, I honestly, that was one of the only surprises of the movie. I didn't think that was going to happen.
Yeah.
I thought she was going to betray the other chick.
The other chick, so
because she was like the little double red herring type, and she was working for him the whole time to get the stuff. And I liked how her and Tom Holland kind of played off each other. Chloe, in the video games is kind of that character in the movies, which is kind of neat. We had a nice little cameo from the voice of Nathan Drake from the video games, Nolan North.
Oh, Nolan North.
Nolan North just chilling on the beach. He's like, "Oh, what happened to you guys?" He's like, "Oh, it reminds me of something that happened to me." And I'm like, "Oh my God, I could hear his voice. It's Nathan Drake." Cool. It was so nerdy for me. And then it's just, a lot of this movie works, and I really didn't want it to. And so I'm not giving it the highest score in the world. I would say maybe this is like a 2.5, 3.
I did 2.5.
It's just a fun movie to watch, and I'm going to buy it. I'm surprised how much I did like it.
I'm going to buy it. I'm hoping a sequel. I doubt it, but
they set it up for a sequel, but they set it up for a sequel to be the first video game.
Yes.
To go after Drake's fortune. And I'm like, thank you. That's the movie I wanted, because when they cast Tom Holland, it's young Nathan Drake, which you get kind of introduced in the 3rd game and then definitely in the 4th game.
Right.
And I didn't want that Nathan Drake. I wanted the gun-wearing, tan pants Nathan Drake, because I've played through 4 games that had this history to it, and now I feel I can separate this movie from that history. It's its own thing, and a lot of people say that about stuff, and you're still like, no, it's not. Shut up. But this was a fun movie. It's a national treasure. It's like you said, it's Goonies. It's those kinds of movies, and I think it worked. And I didn't want it to, but it did.
What did you give it, Scott?
Yeah, I would say probably better than half. I'm gonna go with that 2.75. Like, I don't know if it's quite 3. But it's a fun movie to watch. I think it flowed well. There was really no like downtime where
it's about 2 hours long and it went by quick.
Yeah, where you're sitting there going, "Oh, Jesus Christ!" Like this part is super long and boring. Like, there wasn't any of that. And then, like I said, people that are going to go to this movie, they're gonna, even if they don't know the video game, they're going to enjoy watching this movie, because I guarantee you, 50% of the people that see this movie this weekend probably have never played the video game or even heard of it.
Right, well, it's the theater full of normies. It's
like you said, the chemistry between the two is really good.
Their banter was good.
I didn't find Wahlberg annoying like sometimes he can be in movies. I thought he was fun.
What?
I thought everybody was trying to kind of double cross everybody, and they didn't.
Trying to kill us.
Nobody trusted anybody. I mean, it's fun. It was very gadgety. with the whole kind of like we have the Indiana Jones aspect of it. Then you have the Goonies kind of all tied into it. I mean, it was just a fun movie, man. It was.
I did like the bit toward the end where he's like, take my hand. And it's like the, I'm going to drop the bag of gold. And it is. So you knew what that was going to be. And then he's like, well, I did this. And he pulls it out. And Wahlberg's eyes just grow. And he goes, oh, you got some gold. And then he's like, I got this. And he kept pulling gold out of all the 1,000 pockets that he had. And Wahlberg is just super excited. And then the secret scene after, he's like, you were supposed to be here yesterday. He's like, well, you know how hard it was to get a cat? Because earlier on, Tom Holland gets him a cat. He's like, I don't want a cat. And then it turns out he was like into having a cat, and he brought the cat in a backpack.
It's the typical dad joke.
It's a stupid bit, and
I didn't want the dog or the cat, but now look at him.
I love the cat. He's my favorite, Mr. Whiskers. And it's just like, it's so stupid, but it sets it up because he brings up a name, Roman, who was one of the main antagonists from the first game, and I'm like, thank you. Okay, they're setting it up hopefully for something further, and honestly, if they continued the franchise, I would be okay with it.
Me too.
And I know no one cares what my opinion is, but I want to see. I kind of now want to see another one.
Sony, please listen to this podcast.
Yeah, please.
All righty, guys. So that is our show for the week. As a reminder, you can watch Scott's movie, City of God, and we will discuss it next week. And then it's snack time, baby.
Snack it up.
I feel like our snack shows are like our best shows, which really makes me sad because I love talking about
So we
movies.
were talking about after Snack Show, we were going to do like a standalone Oscar show, right?
Yeah, well, closer to the Oscars.
I was going to say, Oscars come out April or end of March?
Nope, March 22nd.
Okay, so we got the Oscars coming up. We'll probably record something where we kind of talk about what we thought was going to be like chosen, what they actually chose.
Well, I want to go through the whole thing. I want to go through the whole list.
Things like that. So, yeah, it's going to be...
And those are going to replace regular shows and give you guys a week off. Because fuck doing extra shows. Not fuck doing extra shows, but just they'll give you a longer time to watch our movies and stuff. It just gives us a break. So
I got one question before we go.
Okay.
This was brought up when I was talking to Tito and some of the guys the other night.
Oh, my God. Nope. Tito's getting so much fucking run on
this. Was not
we know the title of the show, Tito's episode.
Tito, I love you.
I just threw this in here. It was not a question from Tito. It was actually a question from another guy. He said, who do you think is the greatest actor of all time?
Dude, I can't answer that.
That is such a hard question because you have to break it down through the generations. You can't say, oh, Clark Gable was the best. No, because maybe he was in 5 movies that were big in the 1940s, but now people can now act that big fucking...
I said
there's do this.
You know what I mean? Like they're
another guy that I play with. He just said, he goes, who do you think is the greatest actor of all time?
What was his answer? Because I guarantee all assholes who do this have an answer and it's completely wrong.
I will find out because I don't remember what his definitive answer was.
Elijah Wood.
I just said, I think there's really good actors that are in good movies and they have a good role in that movie, but they may not be a good actor. Oh, I think he said Daniel Day-Lewis.
That's pretty good. That's a good answer.
That's great. That's a good movie.
I remember because
that's a great actor for that.
Because he mentioned Lincoln. He mentioned all the other.
The problem is a good actor can make even a shit film good. So
yeah,
well, we've had this conversation before where it's like we talk about Dennis Hopper, and then if you look at the movies that Dennis Hopper has done, it's like yes, he's done
pre or post.
But see, he's done. Well, yeah. Well, you see, like really good movies that he's been in. He's been in, what was it? It wasn't Apocalypse Now, was it?
Speed.
But see, yeah, then you get to Speed, where it's like we love Speed.
Yes.
But that movie is, it's dog shit.
Because somebody mentioned Keanu Reeves, and I go, Keanu Reeves is the worst fucking actor of all time.
They're saying we love Keanu Reeves in The Lake House.
No.
I love The Lake
Keanu
House.
Reeves isn't a terrible actor.
He's not a terrible actor, but I don't think he makes anything better.
You can't put Dennis Hopper in that because he did Waterworld.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like but people
he didn't make that movie better.
But no,
he also did Mario Brothers.
That's what I'm saying. It's like if you go through the movies Dennis Hopper has done, he has been in a lot of really, really good movies, and you're like, he is a great actor. And then you're like, well, he was also in Super Mario Brothers. He was in Waterworld. He was in.
There's good actors in bad movies.
Yeah, like Michael Caine is an iconic actor that has been in a ton of shit.
I am staring at one right now.
What, a bad actor?
Leonardo DiCaprio.
He's been in some shit.
Has been in some shit movies, and I don't think he is a great fucking actor by any means, but he's been in good movies that have carried his acting. Like a lot of the Tarantino, like some of the, like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, he's good in that one, but he's almost bad good because of the character he plays.
No, he plays the character good.
Right, but that's what I'm saying is I don't think Leo is a fantastic actor. I think he's been in a lot of good stuff that has put him there. I don't think he's at that.
I don't
level.
like this conversation because that's completely wrong.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, that is a deeper question. I think
that's
kind of
why I asked the question. I just wanted to.
He
was
see in The Reverend, and then he does Wolf of Wall Street. I mean, he does Wolf of Wall Street, then The Reverend. He's in Blood Diamond. He's in fucking.
Yeah, but then he's in that fucking Netflix monstrosity.
Had nothing to do with his acting. That had everything to do with the type of movie it was. Leo's a good actor.
I got one question before we leave, and it's not anything crazy. Scott, did you watch The Last Peacemaker yet?
No.
I'm still trying to catch up.
He's like, I'm on episode 3. Watch it for the next. I have been watching some good TV right now. I finished Peacemaker, which I finished.
10 that show. Like they got a second season, which makes me very happy.
The wife is out of town.
Reacher. I watched Reacher.
I
fucking
need to start.
Excellent. 8 hours goes by no time. So much better than the Tom Cruise movies.
I heard it's based on the books.
It is.
And it is better than the Tom Cruise
It is much better. Which I actually liked the first Tom Cruise movie, but the second one was like, I can't believe Tom Cruise was in it. It was almost like...
Well, it's the same with like the Equalizer. Like I liked the first Denzel Equalizer. The second movie was like...
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they try to do these properties and it's
felt like a straight to like DVD film.
Yeah.
And then, you guys are going to... You might kill me, you might not.
I'm excited.
I have been watching the new Bel-Air.
I hate you so much.
So I am dedicated to finishing
While
the season.
He does lines of Coke off the kitchen table.
No, that's Carlton now.
God.
So...
it looks so...
so here's my problem with it. My problem with it isn't whatever, like, it's too... depressing.
That's my problem with it. It's like I can't see myself watching this and being like, I want to watch it to enjoy myself because I know I'm just gonna be depressed, and it's like I don't want to feel that way the whole time.
Like Will he gets into like gang violence, and of course the cops beat him up, so he's like, I hate cops and I hate gang violence, and then he moves to Bel-Air. It's
somehow Uncle Phil still throws Jeff out the door though, so that's
Jazz.
Jazz, yeah,
Jazz is in it, but he plays like this like entrepreneur hustler guy who's like,
so
I drive Lyft,
same character.
I own a record store.
DJ.
And then like it's mostly about like not whereas like I think the Will Smith version was kind of like a lot about Ashley. It's about the older daughter. What's her name? I can't think of it right now. The older daughter, Trevor dies. I can't. What the fuck? It's her.
Yeah, we know who you're
I
talking
can't think of her name right off the top of my head, but it's about her and Vivian's relationship. And Philip Banks is kind of like this huge douchebag who's running to be like
the commercials made it seem like he was a big douche.
And Carlton is kind of like this like black guy who's very into like white savior stuff. And all I'm saying is it's just very like it's just so dark, and it's just like give me some heart.
Hillary.
Because the Hillary, yeah, Hillary.
Hitler?
Hitler? That's where you went?
I fucking missed that one.
No,
that is where he straight went. Like just
like you left the slapstick to the first Fresh Prince, like with all the jokes and Will Smith.
But it still had some storyline to it.
So this has a storyline, but there's no heart. It's all like depressing. It's all down. It's like it's super gritty, and you're just like, if all these characters died tomorrow, might be for the best. So, like, and it's not even being mean. It's just like they're all miserable, and I just I
don't know if I can like sink time into that.
Maybe just watch the first episode.
I might have to be in a really good headspace, like very like I had an upbeat day. It was a good day. It was fun, and then I can watch this, and it balances me out. Like if I'm already like had a bad day and I jump into this, I'll probably kill myself.
I was just gonna say, like the first 3 episodes centers around he moves to Bel-Air, and the first thing that happens is his white kid like puts drugs in his backpack and frames him for like that. And you're just like what? While Carlton's doing rails of coke in his fucking closet, and you're just sitting there like, I get it. But this is hard for me to watch, so that's all. But
maybe for a new generation that didn't come up on the original.
I guess the only thing that so far has in common with the original is like sight gags. Like when he's going to Bel-Air, there's dice in the mirror. Yeah. He gets to Bel-Air Academy. First couple days, he wears his uniform the right way, and then he
goes back,
spills ketchup on it or something, and like. Flips it around just like in the show, and that's it. That's as far as you get. Like they made Jeffrey to be this like undercover, super badass like bodyguard type dude, where he's like an operative that's like helping kill the fucking bullies that like.
Oh my god!
Beat up Will.
Goddamn Steven
like,
Seagal.
Okay, so here's the thing: would this show work better if they didn't tie it into the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? Like, just do your own storyline, rename the characters, but do this gritty urban show and not be a gritty Fresh Prince? Because like, just hearing about this is bumming me out. Like, I don't care to watch it, even if it's good. Like, it just.
But then
why name it this
would
way?
people like us sit there and go, you know what this is? This is the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
But see, I'd rather make that comparison and at least watch it and enjoy it than sit there going into it going, I already know what this should be about and it's not, and this sucks.
Well,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, one way is tainting it a way that, I don't know, just kind of bums me out.
All right. So we'll see you guys next week. I'm Aaron.
I'm Jordan.
And Scott.
And as always,
love you, Tito.
No, fuck you, Tito. Continue lying about the movies you watch with your best friends. All right. This is I'll Watch It Later podcast. See you next week.
So he can remember the sign off. We'll work on the intro.
I couldn't remember it.